Realtors with local real estate experience, bringing you market updates, industry insights, and tips for home buyers and sellers, plus community information and local guests. The Norman Home Team, a mother-daughter real estate team with Keller Williams Realty Wine Country. And now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Happy New Year!
My horn doesn't work. Hang on.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy New Year. Almost. We got a little bit of half a week left, right?
But this is our last show until the new.
It is. So yeah,
until 2026.
We get to celebrate with you early since we won't be here to celebrate with you on the first.
It felt weird not having Christmas music. I mean, it's over.
It's over.
It came and went.
It did really fast.
It
and
really
then
fast,
whoosh, it just went right on by.
It's called life.
Right.
Very true.
The faster, the older you get, the faster it goes, right? Good grief. Well, happy end of the year and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy end of Hanukkah.
And then Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. The holidays just continue around here. And so, so Kwanzaa goes, it began on? Yeah, it did. I started I think the 26th is when Kwanzaa starts.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, January 26th December 26th ends January 1st, and it is just kind of a celebration of, it's a non-secular, not a religious holiday, but just kind of a celebration of family and life and ancestry and unity. And anyway, they light candles, just like Hanukkah, but for different reasons. And if you are someone who celebrates Kwanzaa, Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
And we could all, have a little bit of unity and joy and family togetherness and all of that. So bring it on. So we're going to talk a lot today. We're going to talk about a couple of kind of off outside the box loan products that we've mentioned a little bit, one being the DSCR, which is great for an investor. And I had a really interesting conversation from a realtor friend who lives down in Southern California, had posted something about somebody in San Francisco posting about buying an affordable home, and it was over $1 million. And he kind of, was saying, well, you need to just go look somewhere else. And, why are you buying a home in San Francisco? And we had a conversation about, well, sometimes that's your option, and he's all, well, they should just go up to Sacramento and then commute. It's like, okay, it depends. And people have different ideas. They have different goals. They have different reasons for buying real estate. So so it was an interesting conversation. But one thing that came up in that conversation was, well, why not just rent if you need to be close to San Francisco or close to wherever your job is, and then buy something as an investment property if you have a little, small chunk of money. Buy an investment property. And we've talked about that before multiple times. This is an option to start building your wealth and building some equity to then sell those properties and strategically buy a property here, maybe as a rental, and then move into it after a few years. So there's this whole strategy that you can do. And so if you can't afford it, if you've talked to a lender, which we harp on you all day and night, talk to a lender, look at your options. Let's see if we can get you into a home. If you've really come to the conclusion that this isn't going to work for you here, but you need to be here, you love Sonoma County like us, we've looked at other areas too, and we've gone, top at Sonoma County, look at other options outside the box and maybe start building your real estate investment portfolio and building your wealth outside of the area where real estate is less expensive. Rent here until you can transfer that wealth into Sonoma County and then buy a house if that's your end goal.
Yeah, and talking to a lender can help. They can help with that too.
They can help you through.
They're very helpful.
So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about what that DSCR loan is, and then some other alternative loan products, and then some new laws for 2026 going in. There's federal, there's that are going to affect real estate. There's California state laws, and then there's some Sonoma County things that we're not going through the whole list of new laws. We're just looking at the one. I know, because I'm sure there's a lot. We're just
You only have an hour.
I know. We're just looking at the ones that may affect you if you own real estate or if you rent. There's some that have to do with rental. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to look at the numbers, and we had initially, the end of the year, we look at this year versus last year. We still have a half a week. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday's New Year's Eve. Yeah. So the recorder's office is open half a day. I believe they usually record morning and afternoon. I believe they're only open for morning recordings. Although I could be wrong, because I closed an escrow like right before, I think, 4:00 on years back. Then I think it was Fidelity Title, and it was before they had electronic recording, to where now they can do it from their office. Yeah. They actually had to have somebody go in there, and they hand delivered this and went directly to the recorder's office and got it, because it had to close by the end of the year. So shout out to the escrow officers.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of those that have to close before the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's crunch time, and it's bad at the end of the month, but talk about the end of the year. Yeah. Good grief. So, and it's a huge thing for some people because it's a tax thing, and it has to close. Some people, it can't close the end of the year. They have to wait until 2026, because they don't want it on their income for that capital gains on their income for 2025. Yeah, but they hand walked it over there when you couldn't do it electronically, and got us closed before the end of the recording day for the county. So shout out to all those escrow officers and all the helpers that work there with them,
all
because
the people behind the scenes.
Gosh, bring them some flowers or
something. Right?
Bring them a bottle of wine, some champagne. They are working overtime this week. Yeah, so anyway, my point in all of that was, we're going to look at the 25 year in review versus the 2024 2024, but we're not going to do it till next week, because like I said, we still have a few days to close, and then for all the realtors to make sure they report those closed. We want to get accurate numbers for December, but I do have some information about kind of going back 5 years, what this year looked like versus last year. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about our normal, looking at our market and all of that. We have a caller on the line, Joe. Okay, David's on the line having a question about insurance. Good morning, David.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, and looks like we're getting a little taste of sun down here in San Francisco.
Oh, that's always nice. That's a rare thing, right? I think we got your fog up here in Sonoma County.
Oh, is that right? Well, what I wanted to ask, with these hellacious storms, and then, of course, the wildfires down in L.A., the insurance and FEMA isn't coming through from Washington, D.C. Trump hates L.A., and so he basically turned off the spigot for FEMA. I think he did the same for North Carolina. After that hurricane, they've still never gotten a penny out of FEMA. And I'm wondering, how do we deal with that? If you've got insurance on your house, how are the insurance companies dealing with this?
Yeah, well, it's a real issue. I think all of California. I don't know. San Francisco. You've got more of the earthquake issue than the fire, excuse me. But it's a real problem just getting insurance, and a lot of our back on the market that we see in our statistics are because they couldn't get insurance. They didn't realize they were going to have to go with that FAIR plan. So that's on the purchase end and the insurance end. I don't know, that's well beyond my level of expertise, how to get FEMA to do what they're supposed to do and how to get funding for that. I do know there was a big issue with, and it's always been, but if you make sure you have your property in a trust, because they found a way to work around to say, oh, well, you're not insured because the property is in the trust, so you have the insurance in your own name, and that was something that really has always been around, but they didn't really call anyone out on it until the LA fires is when it really kind of came out, as a lot of people didn't have their property in a trust, and so they said, well, you technically don't have coverage because the property is owned by the trust and the insurance was in your name. So, hopefully going into 2026, we're going to see some reform. I know there's a lot of talk about trying to figure out how to make insurance work here in California because it is a real issue. So I don't know how well I can answer your question, but thanks for the call. I appreciate that. We focus mostly on real estate here in Sonoma County, and then looking at what's happening in the greater Bay Area and California, and the entire country too. But we need to figure something out with insurance. I don't know what the answer is, but you have a great day, David. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All righty. What Joe's saying, we should take a break. So let's take a break. We're going to take a quick break. Come back. We're going to get back to real estate and what happened this year in real estate. A little bit more of other stuff as well. So I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. Have a great day. Or have a great day. Have a great little break. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Happy almost New Year!
Happy News. Welcome back to the Real Estate Hour. I just want to thank you, David, for the call. We had a call in if you're just tuning in. We really try not to get political here on the Real Estate Hour. So, that was the opinion of our caller about the reason why we're having issues with insurance and all of that. So, just wanted to mention that. If you have a real estate question, we'd love to chat with you. But please try
real estate
and
and
not
not
keep
politics.
it. Yeah, try not make it political because everyone has their own opinion, and we are not a real estate show.
We are a real estate show. We are not a
political show. We don't go there. So we have our own very strong political opinions, but we keep them
to ourselves.
We keep them to ourselves during the real estate hours. Okay, so because this is a show for everyone, and we don't want to alienate anyone by opinions of others.
Just
so
informing everyone of real estate.
Yeah, keep it real estate. Anyway, but insurance is a big issue. And really when you are thinking about purchasing a home, take a look at that home and find out right off the bat. And I really suggest that you do it even before you put an offer in.
Yeah.
And as a buyer, a listing agent, I suggest that to the agent that's bringing the offer.
The best way I put it is I always compare it to cars, like buying a car. I don't know why it's just...
I know. It's very different, but from your millennial standpoint...
But when you're going to buy a car, you always want to look at insurance first because you don't want to buy the car and not be able to get insurance. Every time I've bought a car, I've checked insurance first.
Yeah.
Just said, what is this going to cost me? Will I be covered?
Yeah. And is how much more of the monthly payment is going to be insurance, because that's a big deal.
And then depending on how much it's going to be, you might not qualify for that loan when you're getting a car. So it's the same when you're buying a house. It's very much different when you're buying a house. It's a bigger amount and bigger deal. But it's kind of the similar thing where you want to make sure you're going to be covered before you buy it.
Yeah, right.
And make sure it's not going to cost you way too much.
Yeah, and that's the two things, and you're right. And thanks for, I think it's good that you kind of put it into that, especially for the younger listeners that, don't really think about the insurance piece of it. But if you have a car, and you're looking at what's this car payment going to be.
Bought a car.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like a brand new car, you still, when you're buying a car used, you want to check the insurance first.
Yeah. So
same
with a house. Okay.
Yes.
And it's actually more important because you absolutely cannot. And I don't know with the car financing. Actually, you also have to have insurance. But if you are getting a loan on a home, you have to have insurance. That piece has to be taken care of, and the monthly amount of that insurance is going to be considered in your debt to income. And there have been cases where it makes the whole thing fall apart if you find out, oh shoot, I have to go with the FAIR plan. How much is that going to be? Well, now that put you over what you can qualify for as far as what your monthly payment's going to be. So it's a really important piece of the puzzle. And then that part about if you have your property in a trust, be sure that your insurance is in a trust. And I think it's always been that way. But it never really came up, or I shouldn't say never, but it really came to light where all the insurance companies were calling, all the trust attorneys were calling their clients and saying, hey, make sure you put your property, if it's in a trust, insure it in the name of the trust. Because when we started having all these fires, the insurance companies said, oh, well, let's use this little loophole and if we don't have to. And that's just me paraphrasing. I don't know if they were being sneaky or not, but they did definitely find that way in some cases that I've heard about where they said, well, sorry, but you didn't have proper insurance, so we're not covering the loss of your home. So that's scary, you know.
That's
so
really scary.
Anyway, so that's all we need to talk about for insurance. So, but it is definitely a big issue. Let's take a look at. You want to take a look at the numbers?
Do we have time for that?
I don't know what.
We can start.
Let's do that. Okay, the numbers. We got 5 minutes. Okay, so taking a look at the market, what's currently active on the market, what's happening here in Sonoma County, is the active listing single-family homes right now. There are 536 active single-family homes. That's down almost like half of what it was, in the summer and even early fall. And then it slowly started tapering off as we head into the, people get busy with fall. They got, the holidays coming. They're going to see family. They don't want people in their homes during the holidays and all that. So they take it off the market or they wait.
Yeah.
We've always argued that that's not, if it's the right decision for you and your family, then it's the right decision. But it overall, it's not the right decision because there are people actively looking for homes right now. So, waiting till the beginning of the year isn't necessarily the best way to go, and definitely not waiting till spring.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So, anyway, so we have 536 active on the market. We have 221 in escrow. That number is also down a little. It's usually up in the 300 range. However, there are buyers that aren't finding the homes they want because there are not homes on the market that they would be purchasing. So, I believe that 221 would be up in the 300s if there was the inventory. There are buyers out there looking to buy right now. Condos, we have 94 active condos on the hang on. Median price for the single family homes active is $1,205,000. The median price for what's in escrow is $830,000. That's just a kind of a needle that goes back and forth depending on the price of the homes on the market and the price of the homes going into escrow. So lower homes are going to escrow. We do still have a problem with the higher priced homes sitting a lot longer on the market. I think that has a lot to do with the interest rates and affordability and everything else. So
probably insurance too.
And insurance, you're right. Because a lot of those are up in the hills or up in the, the Fountain Grove, the up in the, even out of towards the river, West County. And there's, some up in the woods and beautiful properties that are going for, over $1 million, over $2 million, but then they're in that high fire area. So there's that to deal with. So anyway, okay, so condos, we have 94 active condos in the market with 37 in escrow. Mobile homes, we have 69 active on the market with 26 in escrow. Multi-units, we have 100 active multi-units, which is just 2 to 4 units, whether it's duplex, triplex, fourplex, or 2 to 4 units on one piece of land. There's 100 active multi-units right now with just 12 in escrow. That's actually pretty common or pretty normal. That 100's a little high. The 12 is a little low. But it's pretty normal that our investor market for duplex, triplex, fourplex isn't really as strong as it was when the interest rates were lower. We had a really much stronger, and the prices get high and investors go look somewhere else, which we're going to talk about later. And then you can tell by the 12 in escrow, not many are actually buying those properties either. If it's multiple houses on one property, those sell pretty quickly because people are looking for that how to figure out how to buy as multiple family members buy or friends get together and say, hey, let's buy this. Yeah, the family compound. Anyway, so there's just 12 in escrow of those, so of all the multi-units. Land, buildable residential land, there are 288 active on the market right now with 34 in escrow. That 288's down a little. It was over 300 for a while. That 34 is pretty consistent with what it's been. It is what it is. We actually reduced the price on our 1860 Mark West Springs Road, the 22 acres. That one is starting to get some activity this week. I've got 2 people looking at it today. And then that also has a total of 35 acres, 2 parcels with a 2-bedroom house on it. That is $1,395,000. The land itself is $595,000 now.
It's a really cool property.
It's a really cool property.
It goes way back off the road and up into the
in the hills. Yeah, nice privacy acreage around with some really good usable acreage as well. So that's 1990 Mark West Springs Road and 1860 Mark West Springs Road. You can look those up. They'll pop up if you Google that. You have the hot sheet to take a look at what market snapshot. We got a couple minutes, so I think you can.
Alrighty.
You can get them out.
So single-family residential, looking at from last Sunday to this Sunday, we have new listings are at 16, back on market 9, price reduction also 9, in escrow 30, pending 37, closed 48. Oh, and the new listings are at a median list price of $792,000, and closed are at medium sold 862,000 with 72 average days on the market. And just want to say congratulations to all of you who ever bought or sold a home. It was a big process and you did it. Woo-hoo.
Yay.
There's
That
so
was
many people.
our applause. Here,
There's
we'll give
so
you
many-
a toot.
There you go.
Hey, you bought a house by the end of the year, and maybe
you sold it.
or you sold
it.
it.
Yeah.
sold it out. Our neighbor
Good for you.
was moving out this weekend. We're looking forward to new neighbors. That's always a little scary. It's like, will they be as good a neighbors as the ones that left? Anyway, congrats to all of you, and thank you to everybody on all sides of the transactions, not just the buyer and seller, but everybody involved. Congratulations to you, and you can breathe a sigh of relief and enjoy your new home or enjoy your new adventure.
Definitely.
Anyway, we're going to go on a quick little break for the news. We come back. Let's take a look at alternative financing for the new year. Okay, I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour.
Good morning. We're
Good
back.
morning. Welcome back. And I said we were going to talk about alternative financing, but I want to talk just briefly about kind of what happened in as we wrapped up the market stuff, kind of taking a look back, and I guess we're going to do a full look back next week.
Yes.
Because we'll have the full data.
Yeah, we'll have all
the
of the
story
data.
of 2025.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and it takes a while. Like not everything is processed yet, or maybe it hasn't been
reported.
Thank you.
Like sometimes we're so caught up in the frenzy of closing, that it's like, oh phew, it's closed, we're done,
and then we forget to report it. But then there's also some that are still being processed and might not be reported till the very last day.
Yeah, we've got till Wednesday, so there are some people, maybe they didn't get it closed by the end, by the 25th.
Yeah,
24th.
So we're going to wait until we have all of that information in there, and then we will.
Yeah, but we'll do a quick kind of overview right now, just in case you're curious. But CAR, California Association of Realtors, reported that the 30-year fixed average 6.24 mortgage interest rate in November 2025 is down from 6.81 in November of 2024. So it's based on a Freddie Mac survey. The rate improvement helps affordability at the margin, but it didn't suddenly unlock a huge wave of demand. We're still really, I think a lot of homeowners are feeling stuck still, but they're starting, I know in talking to different lenders, they are really seeing a surge in refinances. Taking advantage, maybe they bought when it was at 8%, and now they're buying when it's at 6%. Or sometimes I think Amanda, when she was here, was saying there were some kind of in the high fives that she was able to get some people. So if you're sitting at close to 8, it may make sense to refinance. But it's also unlocking that gap between mid 6s and under 3. it's the gap is tightening a little bit and making it a little more comfortable to give up that 3% interest to get in the home that you need or that you want, and not being so stuck in your home. And you really and the lenders can talk to you about that as kind of, what is this going to look like as far as your monthly payment, and don't get so stuck on that number that, I'm not giving up my 3% interest rate. Well, would you like to be in a different house? Do you need to be? Is it too big? Is it too small? Do you need to move closer to family? Do you have some reason why you need to move? Don't get so hung up on that 3% and not wanting to give that up. If you can't afford to do it because that higher interest rate's going to knock you off the, being able to qualify.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't get hung up on that. That's my advice. So also based on Barry's monthly count, spring brought the most new listings. April and May were the biggest listing months. Summer produced the most closings. June through August were particularly strong for closed sales, and fall stayed active, but pricing stayed disciplined. Median values didn't show a dramatic run-up going into late 2025.
I just wanted to throw in right there. It kind of shows what we always say. Spring. So spring brought the most new listings, and April and May were the biggest. That's why we say don't wait till spring, because you're going to end up being a house of many other options when you could be a house of few and put your house on the market before spring.
Right.
And stand out, because you'll blend in if you put your house on the market in spring.
Right. And when there's more listings, there's people are a little pickier. They take a little longer to think about it. Although I always advise people that you don't know how many other people are taking a while looking at a property, and we see it all the time where it's been on the market for a month or more, and then all of a sudden it gets 4 offers. You know? It's like, what happened? I thought we were the only ones, but but yeah, you're totally right. You want to stand out, and people, when there's more to look at, they take longer. They also are more picky about what they want from you, what they want you to repair, what kind of credits they want. They might ask for closing costs, all of these things, because they have more to choose from, and it as the seller that they've got. So gosh, get your house on the market sooner if you're ready. If you're not, then let's talk about that and we'll help you get ready. So
definitely.
And maybe it's not the right time, but maybe it is, So anyway, so that's kind of a very quick brief look, but I don't know if we want to talk about sellers kind of moving forward, what sellers should take away from this. You can still get great results. 2025 rewarded, like we just mentioned, this is from a list that I pulled up, but what we just mentioned, see, we're right on the same path as this list, but you can still get great results. Rewarded the 3 P's: price, prep, and photos. And in photos, really what it means is presentation. I would argue that it should be presentation, not photos.
Well, I've seen photos of inside homes where they have all their stuff, personal things. It should not be
There's some horrible photos. So the photos are important, and we really are in an era where people look first they want to see things online first. They want to look at it and it's kind of look good, or they're going to pass by to something else. So having good photos on there is good, but then they're going to eventually get there. So you want the presentation also. So maybe let's say 4 P's: price, prep, presentation, and photos.
Yes.
Okay. So and the longer timelines means plan around days on market plus escrow plus repairs, not just we'll list it and be done. It is going to take a little longer because you have to get your house ready. Things are taking a little longer on the market. So,
definitely want to declutter.
Yeah, declutter and do that. Yeah, take away a lot of the personal stuff. And I know,
a big one,
your big, huge collections of things. You don't want people to spend time looking at all of your stuff and going, oh, this is cool. Or looking at family pictures. I see it all the time. People are, I think I know them. They're looking, oh, look, their kids are so cute. And it's like, but wait a minute, how many bedrooms were there? And what did the kitchen look like? What kind of refrigerator was there? Because they were busy focused on all your stuff. So start pre-packing
and depersonalize.
Yes.
For sure.
So more for buyers, more listings equal more negotiating opportunities, like we just said, especially in homes that weren't perfectly prepped or were overpriced. When a home is turnkey and well priced, it can still move fast. So buyers need to stay ready. So yeah. And that's a house that just came on the market that's priced really well, and it because you've been watching the market. That's not the house to come in and ask for a bunch of things. That's not the one to sit on and wait. That's not, no lowball offers, because it just came on the market. They're not going to take your lowball offer. If we get one, we'll present it because we're legally required to present all offers to our seller. But I can, almost guarantee you that a house that just came on the market's not taking your low offer. And, but anyway, bring it on. Maybe they will. We don't ever answer, and I hate it when I hear realtors anywhere around the world, you know, say, oh, we're not taking that offer. It's like, well, you're not taking that offer. Your client is, you know.
Yeah,
can you present it to them, please? Because you're legally required to. You know, and if you as the buyer want to write a low offer, we're going to tell you why it's not a good idea. But really, we work for you. And if you want to write a low offer, we'll do it and we'll present it. We'll tell you why it's, you know, wasting everybody's time probably. But we'll do it for you. 'Cause, you know, we're going to be honest with you is what we do. But anyway, for investors, move-up buyers, flattish sales with stable prices is often a strategy market, good for negotiating seller credits, rate buy downs, or repair concessions rather than expecting big list to sold jumps. So yeah, for investors, you know, it's like I said, it's this market is tough for investors because it doesn't really make sense sometimes as far as, you know, how the interest rate, what your monthly payment's going to be. Are you looking for cash flow, monthly cash flow, or are you looking for equity growth? And I'd say this is probably more of a market for equity growth, but it's slow equity growth.
Yeah, definitely.
The flips are good, you know, cash. If you've got cash and you can buy something that you can flip, but even that, the market is even tough for flips. And really, if you're not an experienced flipper, if you're not in the trades or have access to someone in the trades as far as doing all the work, really look long and hard at the numbers and really break it down. What am I going to spend? And also there's unexpected things, you know, that come up. Do you have, it's a lot of people think they can come in and flip a house and they're all excited about it because all the shows that say, look at how much money we made and look at what we did. It's not all...
rainbows and butterflies.
I was trying to think. I was going to say roses and something, but I couldn't remember that. Thank you, rain. Yes, it's not. It's not. It's in a, you know. But investing, you know, there are some strategies to do it. We can help you with that. We have access to a lot of really good information, a lot of good lenders that can help you understand investing and what that looks like. And like I said, investing outside of maybe outside of California or out of this, you know, look at you know, Sacramento or look at Fresno or look, you know,
or even out of the country.
Out of the country. Yeah. Ooh, there's some fun stuff out of the country.
Yeah.
Yes, we had our friend Michael Minson from Keller Williams San Francisco who moved to Portugal. Oh, and he called into the radio last year, or this year, early this year, and talked about that market. It's really very interesting. But yeah, there's some interesting things you can do outside the country, and you can combine it with somewhere you can go visit and somewhere you can maybe rent out and get some money while you're not there. But again, you got to look at the whole picture, and there's some really good forms available where you can look at like what is, you know, it really kind of pulls in all the costs and all of the things that you're going to be looking at as far as rental and all of that, and then look at that number. Does it make sense? And that's what the DSCR loan we were going to talk about. And
I just wanted to mention, when you're looking, it could even be out of state, you want to make sure that you're talking to a legit person that's helping you, because there's a lot of scams out there. Just want to throw that in there.
Yes.
But if we could recommend you to some really great people.
Yeah, we
are honest and legit.
Right. We've talked to them. We've worked with them. We've sent clients to them, or, you know, people that we know that become their clients. And, you know, why not talk to someone that you know? And I think we're kind of in that place where, you know, like I talked about, people wanting to see things online, but also really people want to look at Google. They want to look at at reviews. They want to look at reviews. They want to hear from their friends. They want to, you know, so it's a lot of that, people wanting to know, well, what is their Yelp review like, you know? But more than that, well, how about what a personal review? Because we all know that reviews can be, you know, not coerced, but, you know, they can be manipulated, and there's like ghost people, you know, not AI and not ghost people, but you know what I mean? I don't know what it's called, but there's people just putting reviews in that aren't really the people that have, so watch for that. But how about somebody that somebody you know and trust has talked to in another part of the country?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so we talked about that. Let's talk about those reviews. Not the reviews. Let's talk about the DSCR, because the DCSR, excuse me, I'm looking for my notes. We were going to talk about, you know what, I think we have to take a break. Is it 9:45? Yeah, let's take a quick break. I'm going to find this document I'm looking for. And then we were going to talk about some real quick look at new laws that are going to be coming into effect. But more importantly, I wanted to mention that DCSR loan because I think it's a really interesting product. So we'll talk about that as well. We'll do that at the end of the show.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It'll take us to the end of the show, our last segment. But for now, I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team. We'll be right back. Happy New Year! Since we won't be here on the 31st to wish you a happy New Year, but hope you all have a fun and safe celebration.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes, so okay, we're going to rush through a couple things because I wanted to mention it, and we can talk about it more. And I'm going to post, this was an interesting article. There's a lot of good information if you just, it's the letters, acronym DSCR. I think I said DCSR. I will say it wrong, but DSCR. And it's an acronym for Debt Service Coverage Ratio, and it's a crucial metric used by lenders to assess a borrower's ability to service debt from the income generated by the property. So the big difference between this loan and other loans is that they're looking specifically at how much income you're going to make off of this property that you're buying. So they're not they are looking at your credit worthiness. I think it has to be a 640. Unless that's changed. Last time I asked, it was a 640. And you have to have some experience as an investor. So if you owned maybe you rented out a room, even it can be, some simple, I think there's some very stretchy leeway to that. But again, talk to a lender that handles DSCR loans. A lot of them do, so just reach out to, we can recommend somebody for you. But they're looking specific, they're not looking at how much money you make. They're not looking at what your job, how long you've been at your job, all of the normal criteria that they look at when you're getting a loan. They're only looking at how much money is this specific property going to make, and is it fit into that ratio that it needs to fit into, as far as what your income is, your net income, how much you're going to bring home after all the things you have to pay when you own an investment property. So it's a really good loan product, and I would encourage you to look into it. And like I said at the beginning of the show, there was an agent that I know in Southern California who had posted this thing about the entry level home price in San Francisco. It was like $1.4 million or something, and he's all, why don't you just buy something in Sacramento and commute? And there was this whole huge response from people like, how dare you suggest that, why is somebody going to spend an extra 3 hours in their car or 4 hours in there? This guy doesn't know the area. So because he's in Southern California. And I'm like, okay, one, people aren't really buying in the middle of San Francisco. They're buying, there's areas of San Francisco, because he kept saying downtown San Francisco. I'm like, okay, we're not really buying homes in downtown San Francisco. But anyway, his argument was, why don't you just, suffer for a few years and to get your foot in the door of real estate? And there's something to be said for that. Maybe not suffer, but make some sacrifices, just like cutting out, some non-essential things in your life to start saving money for real estate. His thing was, well, why don't you just buy in a less expensive area and then commute into work? And
I know
so
there's a lot of people that do that.
There's a lot of people that do. And even, my parents, my dad worked in San Francisco, and he got up, dark 30 in the morning and went to San Francisco, came home late at night. When my parents got divorced, my mom actually went to work in San Francisco. She had been a stay-at-home mom until then, and then she left early in the morning, walked out to the bus stop, took the bus to work, and she was gone. We were latchkey kids for a little bit, and that was kind of a thing in that time. But that wasn't to get to more affordable. That was to get into the suburbs. Excuse me, it was in Terra Linda. So, it was a better place and where they wanted to live versus living in San Francisco. But anyways, so there was this whole long conversation about that. And then one thing he said, and I said, well, why didn't you say this in your original post when you're arguing about this guy talking, why did you just move to Sacramento? He said, well, how about buying, taking their money, like I say all the time, taking that money and go buy somewhere else. And you can use this DSCR loan for that. Was my whole long point. So there's a lot of alternative ways that you can get your foot into that door of real estate. And I think if that's your goal, is to start building wealth through real estate, do that. Look at other areas, and you don't have to move there. You can buy something, but you have to have a little chunk of money to do that. So maybe you have some equity in your house and you can start pulling some equity. And that's what I did. I pulled equity out of my house and bought some investment properties when I had it. Anyway, so we can talk more about the DSCR loan. And I think I'm going to post this article. It was an article in, I don't see it now. Oh, it was ameritrustmortgage.com. It was ameritrust-mortgage.com. They had some good information. I have never used them as a mortgage lender. I found their information to be good. So not recommending them, but I'm recommending this article, and we'll post it on the Facebook page,
The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. We also have our YouTube channel.
Sonoma County Real Estate Hour. Hi to everyone watching on YouTube. We're not live on YouTube, but we'll get the recording up. And then we always have the recording on the KSRO.com blog. So go to KSROs, look for shows, look for Ask the Expert. You'll see the Real Estate Hour, and there we are. And we can find our past shows as well. Okay, so I wanted to also, we were going to talk briefly about the new rules. New laws go into effect, and I think we'll have to cover those more once they go into effect. Yeah. But some 2026 real estate law changes affecting Sonoma County. And these are not all just Sonoma County, but they are affecting us here. But there's a listing and marketing transparency, AI, and digitally altered photos disclosure was added to our stuff. So we see a lot of, talk about good photos. You see a lot of good photos, and then you get to the house and you're like, whoa, this must have been a digitally altered.
What is it, the AI staging?
Yeah, there's AI staging that you do, and we actually have to disclose that was AI. So there's some new seller disclosures. There's a tobacco and smoking history disclosure. There's an HOA and building safety update. HOAs must provide recent balcony inspection reports in disclosure package. That's a big deal because of the balconies that have collapsed and that brought about everything. Every new law is because something happened. Mm-hmm. New wildfire insurance regulations, expanded wildfire mitigation requirements, including ember-resistant Zone 0 standards, may affect remodels, insurance eligibility, and property values. Updates to the California FAIR Plan aim to stabilize insurance coverage in high-risk fire zones such as Sonoma County. There's new landlord-tenant law changes about security deposits. There's ongoing rent control, AB 1482. And there's development and zoning direction. State housing laws continue to encourage higher density development near transit and urban centers, while some provisions have limited direct impact. And there's Sonoma County permitting and code updates. I'm going to post this on the Facebook page as well.
Yeah, good idea.
We'll summarize it, post it on the Facebook page, Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman.
And we'll also have the market update on there as well.
Yeah, so take a look at that. I think we wanted to wrap up the end of the show with a little bit of a thank you from us for for just a goodbye to 2025 and thanks for tuning in. So we have a little letter.
As the year wraps up, we want to say a heartfelt thank you to our clients, our community, anyone who has mentioned our names to someone thinking about real estate, and all of you who tune into our radio show each week. This year brought plenty of changes in the real estate world, and through it all, we were reminded that what matters most isn't the market, it's the people. Whether you worked with us directly, reached out with a question after hearing us on the radio, or simply followed along, we truly appreciate the trust you placed in us.
Yes, indeed. And thanks for inviting us into such meaningful moments in your lives and for sharing our names with friends and family. Your support both on and off the air means more to us than you know. And we mentioned it last week. We really just, even if you give out our name to somebody, if you overhear someone talking about real estate, say, hey, give them a call. We would love to work with you. As always, our commitment remains the same: clear guidance, honest advice, and steady support no matter what the market brings. And we're looking ahead to 2026. We're excited to continue expanding our reach with home buyers, homeowners, someday buyers and sellers, and the real estate curious. So, always reach out to us because we would love to chat with you.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Wishing you and your loved ones a joyful holiday season, which is pretty much wrapping up.
Yes.
A wonderful New Year from the Real Estate Hour and the Norman Home Team. And we just, that was just some thoughts we put together, but just to take it off the page and out of our hearts and our mouths, we really do appreciate everybody, whether we've worked with you, whether you've tuned in every Sunday and listened to us. You've watched us on YouTube, you've sent business our way, and there's a lot of, really indirect ways that we get business, and a lot of it just means our name was passed on to someone. Maybe you can't use us, maybe you're not ready to sell or buy a house right now, but you know somebody that is. Give our name to them. We're realtors here in Sonoma County. We also cover parts of Napa, parts of Mendocino County. We cover Marin County. And Lake County. So, we can, and like Stephanie said, we can help you find a realtor anywhere in the world, really. Keller Williams, our brokerage that we work under the umbrella of, is expanding more and more and more, and they're really all over the country. So we have that connection through people that we've met through different Facebook groups and different in-person meetings that we have and conferences. But also we go outside of our brokerage too. We're not going to recommend somebody just because they're with Keller Williams Realty. We're going to recommend the right realtor for you because we've met them. And if we haven't met them, we've done the research and we've talked to them when we've found out if they're a good fit.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but we love referrals and we love working. We love what we do, right?
We do, yeah.
We really do. It's fun helping people. We do go above and beyond, I think.
I think so. I know so.
Outside the box and all the things.
Yes.
So, and we're so not pushy.
So we
maybe to a fault where we should be a little pushier, but but honestly, we want you to feel comfortable in the decisions you make, and it's your decision.
Yeah,
we're not going to push you to sell your house now. We're not going to push you for what price to mark your house, and what you can afford to buy in a home. But we're going to have those solid, honest conversations with you to get you headed in the right direction. We want you to achieve your real estate goals. So
exactly, yes.
Give us a call, 707-799-3617. Look for us on Facebook, The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. And
look for us on YouTube.
Sonoma County Real Estate Hour. We gotta go. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team. Happy New Year.
You've been listening to The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, the Norman Home Team on KSRO. Join them every Sunday morning at 9, covering every stage of a real estate transaction, from tips on buying and selling your home to North Bay market updates. Sonoma County real estate market knowledge from real estate professionals born and raised in the North Bay. You can reach Allison and Stephanie anytime. Call or text 707-799-3617.